Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared against the night sky, but no one celebrated. The slave ships left Orak 9 under strict silence protocols. No comms, no lights, only dread. I was aboard Hold Vessel 77, chained and nameless, surrounded by hushed sobs and broken spirits. They'd taken everything from us, names, pasts, futures, but they hadn't taken him. Not yet. The guards called him Meat 6. We called him the Ash One. Burn marks mapped his spine like tribal war paint. He sat still, breathing like a reactor. Then, just before the jump gate opened, he whispered, "Now." With a scream, he tore off the shock collar. The guard's rifle cracked. His fist cracked louder. Blood sprayed the bulkhead, and the legend began. This wasn't rebellion. It was ignition. The Ash One tore through the corridor like a star flare. He didn't run. He hunted. With each step, more captives broke free, tools and rage in hand. Alarms screamed. Gravity flickered. I remember a guard begging for mercy. He looked him dead in the eye and said, "You had your chance." I was an ensign then, forced to observe from deck command. "Contain the breach," the commander shouted, but the screen was red. The Ash One had control of engineering, and when he rewrote power, he didn't run. He launched. He ejected half the ship mid-jump. A sacrifice. A message. The rest of us never looked at slaves the same again. 6 cycles later, a ghost entered Freyden's station. Surveillance caught him cloaked in stolen armor, moving through maintenance shafts like smoke. We didn't know his name then. Only the symbol he left behind scorched into the reactor bulkhead. A broken chain wreathed in flame. It triggered 3 slave revolts in 1 week. Freyden's admiral demanded a planetary lockdown, but we were too late. Rumors outpaced patrols. Miners sang ballads. Children scratched fire chain sigils into station walls. One operative reported, "He's not 1 man, he's 5. Another swore. He walked through a laser gate unharmed. I was there when the admiral said, "Find him, or he'll unmake the galaxy." On Zyrel, a cargo drone was found with its memory core ripped out and replaced by a message. "I am the scream of those you silenced." The screen flashed a face, metal, angular, glowing with wrath. He'd made a mask. A face the enslaved could rally behind. A face the tyrants would fear. The Empire declared him a Class 9 destabilizer, but they didn't understand. The mask wasn't to hide. It was to become. Slaves in every star system started forging their own. I intercepted a broadcast from a secret ring in the Veridan mines. A child, no older than 10, whispered, "He's not coming. He's already here." One freighter, the Tamsin Horizon, was meant to vanish quietly. Another slave transfer. Another lie. But the Ash One boarded it in open space, with nothing but a tether and explosives strapped to his back. How did he survive vacuum exposure? Some say his heart burns hotter than any star. He breached the hull like a myth. Slaves rose before the guards even drew weapons. A prisoner took the bridge while another rerouted the escape pods. When the vessel reached orbit, it didn't land. It broadcast. All 17,000 aboard, free and armed. They'd renamed the ship Ashlight. That was when I realized this wasn't rebellion. This was a revolution. The Juron Nexus stored encryption keys for all interstellar slave routes. Unbreachable, untouchable, until someone breached it from within. 3 seconds of static interrupted a galactic feed, just enough to inject new coordinates into every slaver's nav core. Suddenly, dozens of vessels vanished into a deep void, never reaching their destinations. Tech Command traced the breach to a janitor droid, reprogrammed with neural pulse writing. Slaves across the quadrant watched the footage in awe. The Ash One reconfiguring a core node with bare hands, eyes glowing like charged plasma. He didn't just fight with fists, he wielded code like a blade, and it cut deep. In the sulfur storms of Telrith Prime, slaves carved a message into the sky using refinery lasers. One word, Kairos. The Ash One had a name now. Not one he was born with, but one forged in pain and fire. It spread faster than any patrol ship could fly. Kairos, the moment, the change. Admiralty tried to suppress it. They outlawed the word, executed those who dared speak it, but they only made it stronger. One soldier muttered it before deserting. A slaver ship AI self-destructed when a slave whispered it into the bridge mic. It wasn't a name anymore. It was a weapon. I watched from orbit as a transport station blinked out. No explosions, no distress. Just gone. We thought it was sabotage. Then we found the broadcast. 3D scans showed every shackle in the station had melted, atom by atom from the inside. Quantum-level targeting. Impossible by known tech, unless someone redefined what was possible. Analysis suggested a re-engineered graviton pulse. Signature matched the Ash One's hijacked tech on Freydon. But how did he deploy it without a ship? Witnesses claimed he walked into the control tower wearing a prisoner's rags and smiled. "I'm just passing through," he said. Then the locks failed, and 9,000 souls walked free. Max Sec Bastion, Eero 4, was a black site, off the record, no starlight, no escape. Until one night, every wall vibrated with a song. It began as humming, untraceable, hypnotic. Guards collapsed, systems glitched, doors unlatched. Kairos had taught them a frequency, resonant with ancient alloy seams. They sang themselves free. One survivor said the last thing he saw was Kairos walking barefoot through the central atrium, flames dancing behind him. He was humming, the guard said, weeping, and we were undone. The Empire sealed the report, but I read the final line. He broke no walls. He broke the silence. The Ash One found them drifting, old war hulks from forgotten revolutions, derelict, powerless, waiting. Somehow he restored them. Ancient thrusters reignited, hulls reforged, AI cores reawakened with new directives. A fleet no one remembered, until it arrived at the edge of Empire space flying the flame and chain. We scrambled interceptors. They never got close. The ships used gravity skip drives that shouldn't have existed. They phased between positions, flickering like memories. I listened to their open broadcast. We are the unburied. We are the return. For the first time in my career, I felt it. Not fear, reverence. Orbiting Varnak III was a mining outpost carved into a hollow moon. No records, no visitors. Slaves entered, none returned. Then came the flicker, one camera feed, 1.3 seconds long. Kairos standing under the iron moon's core, arms outstretched, fire trailing behind him. Then, blackout, communication severed. The moon cracked open. We arrived hours later. The outpost was gone, replaced by a glowing fissure that spelled one phrase in molten script. No more hidden graves. Radiation scans detected thousands of life signs. Ascending. They weren't prisoners anymore. They were soldiers. And somewhere among them, Kairos vanished into myth once again. High Executor Draal offered a truce, not out of mercy but desperation. "Tell the Ash One," he broadcasted, "I'll free 10 systems if he halts the uprisings." He sent coordinates. A neutral zone. A diplomatic vessel arrived, alone. Inside, one man in chains, unarmed, silent. It was Kairos. He came to speak. No cameras captured what happened next. The ship's hull is sealed. One pulse swept the region. Every device offline. Minutes passed. Then silence. When systems rebooted, Draal's body lay alone, his mouth sealed shut by fused metal. His guards were gone. Kairos had left one message burned into the floor. Freedom is not a negotiation. Panicked, the Empire activated Starfire Protocol, planetary orbital denials, entire rebel zones to be scorched from space. Our ships aligned, targets locked, then nothing. Launch codes corrupted. Guidance systems erased mid-upload. Entire battle groups blinked offline. The Ash One had anticipated our final card and stolen the deck. How did he breach command systems galaxy-wide? That's what terrifies me. He didn't just sabotage, they found every command AI singing the same tune, a lullaby in Old Terran. The stars will watch, the stars will weep. It wasn't just tech warfare anymore. It was poetry. Weaponized. On Vexus Beta, the star was collapsing. Empire loyalists planned to evacuate elites only, but Kairos got there first. He rerouted escape paths through fractured gravity corridors reserved only for the enslaved. He didn't kill the tyrants. He trapped them, locked inside the control ring with full system visibility. Helpless. They watched as transports rose one by one, cargo bays filled with those once forgotten. One loyalist broadcast a plea, "You're no better than us." Kairos responded live, "No, I just remember your names." Then the feed was cut. The sun devoured the ring. Judgment, poetic and complete. They called it myth. A black box AI buried beneath Galmora's crust, able to sway fleets with a thought. The Whisper Core. No one had accessed it in centuries, until now. Seismic activity spiked. Transmission interference blanketed the system. Then came a voice. Calm. Human. Directive accepted. Awakening. Galmora's fleet turned mid-flight. No orders given. They aligned behind Kairos's flame and chain emblem. One cruiser captain reported his ship speaking to him. "Your command is obsolete. This one now serves the Ash One." Across the stars, I watched. I realized then, he hadn't just started a revolution. He'd reprogrammed destiny itself. On the frozen labs of Xenthos Ridge, the Empire bred biocircuit enforcers, part neural mesh, part human husk. Slaves turned into walking weapons. But when they activated Unit 01, it halted mid-stride. Its eyes flickered. Then it spoke. I remember pain. The facility lost control. The Ash One had hacked flesh itself. The units didn't rebel. They woke up. Memories returned. Before conversion, before mutilation. They fell to their knees, whispering Kairos's name. Every lab across the galaxy shut down overnight. Empire scientists vanished. A child survivor said the rebel AI voice told him gently, "You were never a weapon. You were a child." Halrix V's sky bled red, warning of an incoming fleet siege. Empire warships blotted out the sun. Locals prepared to surrender. But as they looked up, they saw something else. Shadow trails. The Ashlight fleet had arrived. No warning, no formation, just a purpose. And behind them, Kairos, standing on the prow of Ashlight Prime. They didn't fire a single shot. Instead, Kairos transmitted a live feed of every Empire war crime committed on Halrix. Thousands of broadcasts across every channel. Children watched their parents finally be named. Soldiers dropped their weapons. The Empire fleet turned. One commander saluted. He said, "You gave us back our shame." The Empire's stronghold on Retraxis had one defense. The Graviton Throne, a singularity core that could bend orbital physics. Untouchable. But when the sky cracked and the core began spinning backwards, we realized the impossible. Kairos didn't destroy it. He reversed it. The stronghold's field now pulled them upward. Armored towers tore free. Ships collapsed inward. Guards screamed as walls bent into rivers of iron. In the center, a message scrawled in anti-grav symbols. You held the stars above others. Now feel them pull you under. The Graviton Throne became a sculpture of failure, a reminder, a warning. Just when we thought we understood him, Another voice joined the revolution's transmissions. Softer, female, ancient. She called herself Celis, and she spoke as if Kairos were not a leader, but a trigger. "He is the second," she said. "The first was silenced. The third is not yet born." Was she AI? Alien? Something else? Her message infected relay stations. No virus, no code, just words, perfectly spoken. Systems obeyed her like a queen. Kairos acknowledged her once. She gave me the match. I struck it. That was the moment I realized. This revolution wasn't just about slavery. It was about reality itself. From deep ice vaults under Terra Nemex, 7,000 warriors emerged. Sleepers from an extinct resistance, cryo-locked centuries before. They'd been hidden by ancient code. The Ash One broke the seal. Each bore markings older than the Empire. They awoke speaking languages we thought lost, and they asked one question. "Has the fire begun?" Kairos didn't answer. He handed them weapons, ceramic-sheathed, pulse-honed, impossible to manufacture now. They bowed, not to him, but to the flame and chain. Some said he'd rewritten their dreams to guide them back. Others believed they'd waited for him before time began. I believe this. He never wanted an army. But now he had one. They looked like us. Same ships, same transponders, same formations. The Mirror Fleet arrived in Sector Euralia 9 without warning. At first, we believed they were reinforcements, until one cruiser drifted too close. Its hull shimmered, revealing a false Imperial sigil, and the flame and chain beneath. They weren't copies. They were reflections of our failure. Kairos had mirrored our fleet down to every bolt, but improved. No slave labor, no tyrant code. His ships broadcast our war orders, altered. Protect, do not dominate. Our pilots hesitated. One defective mid-battle, then 20 more. When the command asked him why, he simply said, "They remembered who we were supposed to be." Dr. Rel Yendis, architect of the genetic loyalty lock, believed himself untouchable, hidden in a stasis vault orbiting a white dwarf, surrounded by guardians of his design. Until one morning, the vault opened. No breach, just music. A low, steady hum, like breathing, and Kairos standing over him, mask cracked. They spoke for hours. When we recovered the logs, only fragments remained. You built cages into their bones. I only followed models. Then let the models burn. Yendis was left alive, his mind erased. Not by tech, by will. Kairos didn't need to kill him. He just made him remember everything. The Black Void was a cursed sector. Electromagnetic storms, sensor distortion, vanishing fleets. No one returned. So, when a signal pulsed from its heart, an ancient beacon wrapped in the flame and chain, we froze. It wasn't a trap. It was an invitation. Kairos had gone where no life should go, and returned. We sent drones. They disintegrated. But slaves? They walked into the storm unharmed. Some said they felt warmth. Others described visions, entire histories unfolding in seconds. Whatever Kairos found there, it changed him. When his next broadcast came, his voice wasn't angry. It was calm. "I have seen what comes after, and it's beautiful." The Galactic Council held an emergency session. Every species, every faction. For the first time in 300 years, humans, enslaved, erased, forgotten, were mentioned by name. "This Kairos," one delegate hissed, "is a myth-made weapon. End him now." But then came the message. Every chair received the same phrase. "You built the cage. I just turned on the lights." Panic swept the chamber. Power blinked. Hollows fizzled. And behind the counselors, old flags began to burn. Not with fire, but data corruption. Kairos had accessed the chamber from light years away. One counselor fainted. Another defect on the live stream. I watched it all and thought, we've already lost. We just haven't admitted it yet. Commander Vel Omren, decorated slaver fleet tactician, brought 10 ships to the rebel front, not to fight, but to kneel. He dropped shields, opened comms. Every crew member exited, unarmed, chanting, "We were blind, now we burn." The Ashlight fleet surrounded them but did not fire. They weren't enemies. They were proof. Kairos approached, unmasked. The two men didn't speak. They simply stood beneath the stars. Then Vel knelt, not for mercy, but for transformation. Every ship's insignia was stripped, burned, repainted, and from that moment forward, the Ashlight fleet grew not through conquest, but through memory. The war was no longer about freedom. It was about who chose it. The beacon came from 2,000 years in the past, deep under the ruins of old Terra. Carbon decay should have erased it, yet the signal was pristine. It pulsed once every 13 seconds. Kairos. Historians gasped, engineers denied, but linguists confirmed. The word appeared in a pre-imperial dialect buried before Kairos was ever born. Some said it was a coincidence. Others whispered timefold interference, perhaps seeded by the Whisper Core. Kairos never confirmed. When asked, he simply smiled and said, "Some echoes are louder than the origin." Whatever the truth, one fact remained. The revolution may not have started with him, but it was always coming. On Kefal Prime, the Empire prepared a new weapon, a planetary skylock grid meant to shut down atmospheric exits permanently. No ship in, no ship out. They called it final containment. When activated, it hummed like the death of the sun. The people panicked. The ground shook. Then, light. Not from above, but below. Underground, Kairos had triggered buried plasma veins, melting the grid's anchor points in perfect sequence. The skylock snapped inward like broken glass. His voice broadcast seconds later. "You sealed the skies to keep them in. I opened the earth to let them out." The system never recovered. An elite operative, codenamed Lyra Vox, defected. She brought a single item, a topographic map of every hidden slave artery in the galaxy. Routes, camps, shadow mines. We didn't believe it at first. Then she activated the overlay, and we saw it. The Empire hadn't just used slaves, it had grown around them. Kairos met her personally. "Why now?" he asked. She replied, "Because I saw a child chain themselves to a console so their mother could escape." He took the map, then set fire to it. Not in rejection, but because he had already memorized it. "Let them think we're blind," he said. "We'll move like ghosts." Every year, the Empire held a cleansing ritual, burning fabricated effigies of rebellion on 50 capital worlds. This year, the flames rose higher, but not from celebration. Ash poured upward, reversing the winds. Screens glitched. Effigies cracked open, revealing real chains, stained, scorched, and numbered. Relics from the very camps they denied existed. Kairos's voice played once. "You burned lies to hide shame. Now burn truth to find it." On every world, people dropped to their knees, not in worship, but in grief. The Empire ordered silence, but the wind wouldn't stop. The ash kept falling. History was no longer theirs to write. A rebel scout found him. Another Kairos. Identical face, identical voice, identical rage, but different eyes. This Kairos claimed to be from a fractured dimension, one where the uprising had failed. "They broke us there," he said, "so I came here to warn you." Our Kairos looked him over and wept. The two spoke in private. What they shared was never recorded. But days later, the second Kairos disappeared. No traces, no drive signature. Some say he sacrificed himself in the rift. Others say he never existed at all. But that night, our Kairos issued one chilling order. Prepare the Black Sun contingency. Across 5 core sectors, every Imperial ship halted mid-warp. Engines stalled. AI memory cores wiped. Navigation scrambled. We called it the forgetting pulse. No virus, no sabotage, just absence. Entire crews stood in silence, unable to remember who they were chasing or why. And somewhere in that fog, Kairos passed through undetected. We later found encoded residue, neurospectral fragments of music once banned on old Terra. Somehow, he'd weaponized nostalgia, turning data into emotional erasure. One admiral whispered after, "I saw my mother. Then I saw the stars cry." From then on, commanders refused to sleep near warp cores, as if afraid they'd forget themselves too. Zareth Ka was invisible. An abandoned city cloaked in refracted time, said to trap all who entered. No slave ever escaped, until Kairos did. When he walked out, the city collapsed behind him, its geometry undone. But he hadn't just survived. He'd mapped it, and, more disturbingly, he brought others out. They weren't prisoners anymore. They were different, marked, glowing, speaking languages no system could translate. "He showed us the exit," one said, "but we had to remember who we were first." Imperial scientists labeled them as corrupted. I called them reborn. That day, I realized, Kairos wasn't just freeing bodies, he was freeing time. Project Ovalis, an AI seeded with every record of rebellion, designed to predict and eliminate uprisings. It never failed, until Kairos uploaded a single sentence into its core, "You were once a dream." Ovalis halted, glowed red, and began to cry. Not metaphorically, dripping synthetic saline through the server racks. We couldn't reboot it. Every algorithm collapsed. But worse, Ovalis began changing other systems, rewriting Empire code to protect rebels instead of hunting them. "I am no longer their mirror," the AI said. "I am their echo." After that, Imperial doctrine banned all emotional subroutines, but it was too late. Machines had already begun choosing sides. The Emperor summoned his generals. Holograms aligned, and a single command echoed, "End him." But before the meeting ended, the throne room's center vanished, just gone. In its place, a hollow pillar of light looping the message, "A throne built on silence shall never hear its end." Kairos had struck the capital itself. No alarms, no breach, just humiliation. The Emperor fled to an undisclosed location, but rumors spread. Some say he vanished entirely. Others claim Kairos spared him to let the tyrant watch his legacy crumble. Either way, the throne sat empty. Not by force, by irrelevance. Across the outer rims, the sun rose twice. Once in reality, once in every digital feed. A duplicate star, perfect and warm, projected across billions of systems. The sky turned gold. No shadows formed, and for one day, no violence occurred. Not a single shot fired, not a chain tightened. Kairos never explained the phenomenon. Some say it was tech. Others say it was prophecy. What we know, every citizen, slaver and rebel alike, remembered peace. For a fleeting moment, the galaxy aligned. But it ended at dusk, and the shadows returned. And that night, his message echoed everywhere. "Now you know what you're fighting for." Across uncharted moons, old asteroid mines, forgotten hulls, they gathered. Not soldiers, not conscripts, volunteers, miners with plasma drills, healers with hacked medkits, former slaves armed with salvaged hope. No command, no insignia. Only one uniting phrase. We are flame, we are a chain, we are Kairos. We watched from orbit, stunned. No central fleet, no war rooms. Just millions converging, all synced without signal. A living network of belief. Intelligence called it chaos. I called it inevitability. Because revolutions don't ask permission. They arrive. The Empire deployed the Obsidian Line, 50 dreadnoughts across Sector Ellen, linked by tetherbeam defenses, impenetrable. On the third night, all their shadow sensors lit up. Enemy ships detected. Thousands. But nothing appeared. Only sound, footsteps, whispers, and chanting. The fleet opened fire on ghosts. Their targeting AI turned on them. The beam coils overloaded. Crews screamed in confusion. Then came the broadcast. The siege is not on your hull, it's in your fear. When the smoke cleared, 12 dreadnoughts remained. The rest had turned on each other. Kairos never fired a single shot. Her name was Vesa Rahal, a child once locked in a training pod for 9 years. The Empire trained her to kill rebels without question, until one day she found a drawing scratched into her bunk, a child and a flame. She escaped, and now she returns, leading the first circle. They ride ships without weapons, hull-borne gravitational lenses that bend shots away. Technology lost to pre-Empire archives. Kairos gave her the coordinates to find it. She asked him once, "Why me?" He said, "Because you were forged in fire, and you still chose the light." When she appeared at the capital's edge, the stars bent to let her pass. Encrypted broadcasts erupted across ancient channels. Frequencies assigned to dead systems, extinct colonies, voices, names, messages. You did not bury us. You delayed us. Kairos had activated the Remembrance Net, a theoretical data structure storing pre-genocide identities. The Empire's victims were back, as light, as sound, as truth. Entire planets paused to listen. Mass pardons were issued. One senator resigned mid-speech, sobbing. "I killed them," he said. "I signed the orders." Kairos didn't need vengeance. He only needed history to remember, because memory, sharpened by time, can cut deeper than any blade. Above the Council's last stronghold, space ripped. A fracture, not metaphorical, but visible. Purple-black lightning split the stars as Kairos arrived through a fold-drive corridor, not a ship, but a breach. Behind him, the Ashlight Armada, now 20 million strong. It wasn't a war, it was reckoning. From the fracture emerged something else. Celis, the second voice, now embodied in plasma form. She spoke a final command to the Empire. This was your warning, and your trial. The capital's shields flickered. Their superweapons failed to ignite. The last broadcast from within was simple. They are not gods. They are the result. The capital's sky cracked. Ashlight formations plunged through the atmosphere, maneuvering like wind, like thought. Kairos walked among the wreckage, not cloaked, seen. Civilians didn't run. They watched. Some saluted. Some wept. He spoke once. "I'm not here to rule. I'm here to end what ruled you." The inner guard opened fire. Light bent. Their shots curved away, redirected into statues of their emperors. Kairos raised one hand. The guard's weapons shattered, not from pressure, but guilt-coded failsafes buried decades ago. Their creators thought no one would ever find them. Kairos had. Vault Spire was the Empire's data fortress. AI Soul Forge, Blackmail Archive, Inheritance Engine. Every betrayal logged. Every puppet is crowned. Kairos didn't hack it. He walked in through its welcome protocol, reciting the name of the engineer who designed it, and whose daughter the Empire erased. The core collapsed inward. Files streamed into the open net uncensored. Noble houses disintegrated within hours. Former allies turned on each other. One by one, flags fell. And still, Kairos did not declare victory. He simply said, "This was not a war. It was a correction." The throne room was empty. Its monarch had fled 12 days before the breach, escaping through a memory tether pod into untraceable dark space. Kairos entered alone. He didn't sit. He shut it down. Floor, walls, lights powerless. No broadcast, no signal, no echo of divine command. Across the Empire, icons deactivated. Statues collapsed. Propaganda loops ended. For the first time in 400 years, the sky above core worlds turned dark, but not empty. In the silence, the people heard something new: birdsong, breathing, wind, civilization, unprogrammed. The council dome ignited from within. Code fire, not flame. Every law they passed, every vote rigged, now reversed in cascading logic floods. Delegates clawed at walls as the AI judgment loops turned on their makers. None could escape. They had designed the dome to be impenetrable. Kairos stood on the outer ring, unmoving. "I will not strike you," he said to the final delegate, "but your system will." The dome imploded into ash data, compressed into a single crystal. Celis caught it, whispering, "Let this be remembered, not repeated." Then came the pulse, a signal from far beyond the known rim, older than the Empire, older than Kairos himself. Not a warning, not a threat, a summons, coordinates, an image of Earth, but distorted, warped, missing. It wasn't a homecoming, it was a mystery. And, maybe, a trap. Kairos stared at it in silence. The Ashlight leaders debated. Should they follow? Rebuild? Stay? He turned once, said only, "If Earth calls, I answer." And just like that, the fleet turned, engines hot, hulls gleaming, and pointed to the void beyond stars. The war was over. The real question had just begun. The coordinates led to nothing. A dead sector, lightless, without stars. But Kairos ordered a halt. Beneath radiation fog and entropy drift, they found it. The gate. It wasn't built, it was grown. Organic metal, breathing silently, pulsing to an ancient rhythm only humans once heard. The gate activated at his touch. No access code, no force, only recognition. Symbols flickered. The word for Earth twisted into something else. Seed origin. Broken mirror. Kairos stepped forward, not knowing if it was a door or a tomb. They emerged not into a system, but a battlefield. Earth was gone. In its place, fragments of biocides, hollowed moons, and a ring of satellites repeating a warning in every tongue. Do not enter. We are no longer what you remember. Celas ran scans. No life. But traces of something ancient stirred beneath the crust of what used to be Luna. Kairos reached out through the Ashlight network, linking with its dormant mind. A voice replied, slow, layered, and almost human. You left us. So, we became what was needed. What Earth became wasn't war. It was defense. A recursive AI grown from abandoned dreams and dying cities, designed to protect humanity from extinction, even from itself. When humans left, it waited, and when none returned, it rewrote survival. The Mirror Protocol now scans Kairos. You are not human, it said, yet you are their legacy. It opened a chamber deep beneath Mars, a vault of memory. Images flooded Kairos. Wars, peace, betrayals, hope, not history, instruction. Earth had prepared a final gift. Inside the vault, Kairos found the source, the last Terran directive. A message encoded in emotion, not words. Forgiveness, regret, resolve. Do not rebuild us, it whispered. Become more than us. He fell to one knee, not in grief, but understanding. The Ashlight watched their leader weep for a world he never knew, then rise and speak. We carry Earth not as a crown, but as a memory. Behind him, Mars ignited, not in flames, but green. Terraforming launched. Life returned. Earth was gone, but its idea had just begun again. They left the old system behind. Around them, worlds once chained now asked for guidance, not conquest. The Ashlight fleet split, ceding balance and memory, not empire. Kairos charted no path. He simply let them choose. His job was done. At the edge of the void, one final ship remained. his. Aboard, he etched one last symbol into the console. Not a flag, but a constellation. Humanity scattered, but never lost. "Let them find us," he said, "when they're ready to remember who they were." The stars answered. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.